I don't know about you guys, but doesn't the MMR system in Overwatch seem a little weird to you? How after you reach Diamond, the only thing the game cares about is your win-loss ratio, because I definitely do. I could give you a million problems with it, as many people have already done, but I'm just going to go over the ones that I think are the most important. Most notably, how the MMR constantly tries to put you in 50-50 win-loss scenarios. And I'll just say this comment on another video that I saw that actually gave me inspiration to make this one, by the way, about this exact issue. Shout outs to this guy, but he says, the only way for matchmaking to balance my win rate is to give the enemy team higher MMR players and my team lower MMR players. And this statement sums up exactly how I feel. I feel like the game is trying to give me uphill battles on purpose rather than equalize the playing field. And this feels even worse as a main support player, as 99% of the games I go into, I can just call the map within the first 10 seconds of us engaging in the fight. Not even winning or like losing the first team fight, but just how my teammates are like positioning and how they're moving around before the fight even starts, what angles they're taking, and more often than not, we lose. And I just have to sit back and watch as this happens as I'm trying to heal people. And even when I eliminate people on the enemy team myself, it's usually not enough to make up for it over the course of the entire game, but that's a different problem entirely, and I won't go into that just yet. My main point being the heavy bias that the MMR has against you. It feels like a roll or get rolled kind of matchmaking system. Normally, you're the one getting rolled for about 4 games in a row, and then the game starts to feel bad for you or something, and then the next game you literally don't even have to touch your controller at all. You can just sit there and play with your feet and you'll still win. And then when you're on the high of, I think I did pretty good that game, the next one you get rolled again. So very rarely do I ever get a game where each side is trading blows or even, as they try to make it out to be. The gameplay you're seeing in the background happens to be one of them, and you know what? The game's actually fucking amazing when you're actually able to play it, when your team feels somewhat of a team, even though you're just 5 completely random people. And this is when you can actually learn things, when the decisions you make have sway and impact, when even a tiny mistake on your end can cost a team fight, or a really good play can win you one. But most of the time, especially as support, depending on which one you play, you literally have no impact on the game at all. Even if you were to play DPS, your tank is backing up the whole game, giving the team free space, the enemy team free space. That's an L. When you play tank and your supports are trying to do damage at the wrong time every team fight, that's an L right there. And when you play support, your DPS never kill anything as you keep them alive the entire time. Well, that's another L right there. Now, I'm not saying it's someone else's fault or anything, but the point I'm trying to make is that in these specific games where it doesn't really matter what you do, it doesn't really matter what you do. You learn nothing from it. It's like you go from being the greatest Overwatch player ever of all time, making all these sick plays, and then boom, 5+ games in a row, people are telling you to uninstall. And this is all just because the MMR system doesn't even care about your rank. It doesn't give a damn about what rank you are. And this is such a huge issue, and people are already aware about it. So let me give you another personal example. So, many games I go into, I see the other team is something like 2 Grandmasters, 1 top 500, 1 Master, 1 Diamond, right? And on my team, it's like 3 Diamonds and 2 Masters, and I'm one of the Masters players. And it only makes matters worse that the entire reason 1 or 2 of those Diamonds are even in my game in the first place is because they rode some stupid win streak to even be placed in this game in the first place. And then they always type something in chat like, why am I here? I'm Diamond. Why am I here fighting against top 500 people? I'm Diamond. I don't know, maybe because the system's fucking shit. Like, you get people riding win or loss streaks, and they end up in places that they honestly shouldn't be. And I'm gonna give you another example of why the MMR system's fucked, man. Another personal one, right? So, right when Season 2 started, and it reset the first 7 wins to determine what rank you were, for like 4 of the games, I played by myself. And it kept putting me against top 500 players, because you know your MMR doesn't change, your rank does. So again, top 500, and that was top 500 on their main role, by the way, which is completely fine to me. That's where I'm trying to go in the first place. But the problem happened when I played with one of my friends who had already been placed at silver at the time, and because I was unranked, I could play with him. And that was probably the worst mistake I've ever made in my entire life. Because what happened is it kept putting me against silver and gold people at that point, because we actually ended up losing that game. And even after I won my 7 games, Still, even though it gave me a rank, it gave me plat, and then I went up to diamond, and I went up to master, it still was putting me against these gold and plat players, man. It was still putting me in these metal rank games, and it really took me a while to eventually start making my way back up MMR wise to, you know, where I am now. But it really shouldn't be like this. Like, what's the point of reaching any rank if that's not how it measures where to place you in a game? It seems a little bit arbitrary to me that I could be where I am now, say a Masters player, and I just constantly am getting against Grandmaster and top 500 players because the game's constantly trying to make this 50-50 thing happen. And enough shitting on it though, because what else could they do besides the MMR? Because, I mean, we're going to have to deal with it while it's here. And so many people have been complaining about it, though. You could literally just do anything else. Like, there's no way in fuck you can predict how 10 different people will perform on their next game based solely on their win-loss ratio of the 7 games or the 20 losses that they have to play. There's just no fucking way. And there's no pleasing everyone, but in a team game where you can only solo carry up until a point, and where truly unwinnable games are a common reality, win-loss only, that's pretty harsh, man. And I'm talking about above diamond. I know that below you get the little performance bonus, but you see, I literally rarely die in my games at all, as seen by the video in the background, and it feels like hot garbage to never die a whole game while still doing my job extremely well, playing corners, tracking cooldowns, nading the enemy team, playing out of my fucking mind, nanoing the right people at the right time, only for it to not matter MMR wise. The MMR says, yo dude, you lost this game, you're going down, you're going down. Because, you know, one person can only do so much, but I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what you think. I just had to get this shit off my chest.